I'm back! Hello, my name is Simone Booth and I am the host of the Gilded Cloud podcast. So, you girls back. I've had a good old break, but we are now in 2026 and today I'm going to do a roundup of 2025 as well as a look ahead at what I've got planned for the rest of 2026. So let's get straight into it. I was so excited about what was to come in January. I couldn't wait because I was going to be starting my brand new immunotherapy treatment and it was going to be a game changer and it was going to be the treatment that worked. So I couldn't get started quick enough. I was literally counting the days. So New Year's Eve came along and I was going to be spending it with my mum, and I did spend it with my mum in A&E because I decided to get the worst case of laryngitis I've ever heard of. So it wasn't just that I had a sore throat or it was a bit swollen or anything like that. All of the structures of my throat had completely swollen up my neck and my throat, right down to my sternum. So all of my lymph nodes, my glands, my thyroid glands had all completely swollen up, and it got so bad that there were points that they had to give me oxygen because I couldn't even get enough air past. So yeah, it was pretty bad. To a point I couldn't speak. Now, you should have noticed by now from the videos I have done, not speaking isn't something I do very often. So yeah, the not being able to speak and the frustration of that is then of course I couldn't communicate with the doctors properly either, especially in terms of making them aware of the severity of my cancer diagnosis and how that impacts my immune system. So quite dangerous, if anything, for me not to be able to speak. It also meant that we had to postpone starting my treatment. It was 2 weeks before I could go home from hospital, and then it still took some time after that to fully recover until February. It's starting. I got the call this afternoon. I am now at King's College Hospital to start my new immunotherapy treatment tomorrow. The hope is that this will get the multiple myeloma into full remission. This is the beginning of the end of it, people. It's a new chapter and I'm very, very excited. So as you can see, I really was elated, incredibly excited about starting the new treatment, and yeah, there's nothing else that needs to be said about that. And as I have stated in previous videos, it didn't go well.
Okay, so it's been a long old week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, and I'm going to rattle through this as quickly as I can. So my new treatment, it sucks. It sucks. Big, hairy, sweaty balls. I've not had some of the side effects. I've had all of the side effects. I then threw in a staph infection and a major MS attack because it's me. So I've really put the doctors and my body through it. My spleen's doubled in size. I've had jaundice. I've had fever, high blood pressure, high pulse rate, needed blood transfusions, needed oxygen. It's been a bit of a shit show, to be honest.
So that's that. We've started the new treatment and I'm finally home from hospital 2 weeks later than I expected to be home from hospital. So carried on having the treatment, got used to my new treatment routine, and then the side effects started to raise their ugly head again, and I was feeling pretty rough, and it got to the point where I wasn't sure I'd be able to carry on. But they convinced me to give it another go, and then my body seemed to have heard them, and so it stopped messing around, and the side effects also started to peter off even more until the main issue I was having was the peeling of the skin. It was flaking off in flakes the size of like cornflakes, and just looked really gross. But, you know, every week I was feeling that bit stronger. I wasn't getting out much because, you know, it was still tough. It was the toughest treatment I've had yet. Just in time for me to go on a massive shopping spree because I needed a whole new wardrobe of clothes. So why did I feel the need for a new wardrobe of clothes? Well, because I was going to be going on a trip very soon. Now, the reason I laugh at that is because it's not the only trip I've taken. Recently, I took a quite interesting trip on Boxing Day. We'll say no more about that. However, this trip I'm talking about was a holiday to Malta. Except walking through this very room here, from my front room to my kitchen one afternoon, my knickers fell down. So yeah, I had lost so much weight in 2024 when I did actually rejoin Weight Watchers and start dieting in order to completely reverse diabetes. And within that first year, I had lost 1.5 stone, and I was really proud of myself for that because I did really take it seriously and work hard. I bought this amazing juicer and was like juicing pretty much every day. So yeah, I did take it very seriously. Then I had the laryngitis infection in January, and then I had the staph infection when I started the new treatment in February, which also led to a real reduction in how much I was eating for a number of weeks. So by beginning of May last year, 2025, I had lost over 3 stones in weight. And that's why my knickers fell down. So, yes, I went shopping. Well, I didn't go shopping. I shopped online. Bought myself a whole new wardrobe. And it was also in time for our fantastic holiday to Malta. And how did that trip go? Malta was a bag of fun, but it was also an opportunity for me to test my new body because by this point I was sure. I'd said it to my doctors a couple of times. This treatment has worked. I am in remission. And they were like, no, you're not. Calm yourself down. So, you know, the test results were showing I was close to it, but I wasn't there yet. Close but no cigar. But as far as I was concerned, that was semantics. So when I went away, I decided to test my body. Let's see how much I can do. I'm in a great climate, which is very beneficial in terms of the MS. In fact, I didn't use the scooter the entire week I was away. From the time we got to the hotel, I folded Scooty up, put her in the corner of the hotel room, and she didn't come out again until we were travelling back to the airport to go home from Malta. But the entire week, I was able to get out and about without her. Now, when I'd done that the previous year, it had still been very difficult. And there were a couple of times where I had almost come a cropper. This year, that did not happen. This year, yes, I was still having to take those regular breaks when we went for a walk, but there was no point where I got caught short, no point where we had to call a taxi to pick us up from a closer point than we'd thought. I was able to manage, and quite comfortably. There were none of those occasions where it was borderline whether I was going to collapse or not. That did not happen. I was very sore. These were muscles that had been very underused for over 5 years. So yeah, I did have quite a lot of pain in my legs and my hips were killing me. But that's very different to not being able to walk because you're about to pass out and lose consciousness. It's 2 different things. So I was actually really happy with how my body responded when we were in Malta in 2025. So came back feeling even more positive and excited. But at the same time, I did definitely have those post-holiday blues. And for me, it was a bit more than that this time. Because it was also the fact that I had to look at, well, if you achieve remission, you are already seeing how much more you can do. So what next? Where do I go from here? What are my next steps? What's achievable? What's possible for me now? So I felt quite lost and a bit rudderless. I would compare it to a student who's just finished college or university and the world is your oyster, but you don't know which direction to go in. And that's exactly how I was feeling. There were all these options that hadn't been available to me before, and now they were, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I came back from Malta and I continued to leave the scooter at home. I stopped using it. I was now able to get to my bus stop without needing the scooter safely. So being able to get to the bus stop means I can get on a bus, which means I can go places. But where was I going to go? That was the big question. You can, but where are you going to go? And that is when the Gilded Cloud was born. Now that came from an idea from you guys. You were the ones who were always saying to me, oh, I should share what I've learned, maybe write a book, tell my story. And that had always been a big fat no, because I don't read myself. So how the heck am I going to ask other people to read something that I've written? I listen to a heck of a lot of audiobooks. Yes, love an audiobook. And I watch a lot of other people's blogs and their podcasts. And that's when I thought, do my own podcast and share this with you. And here we are. I go down the rabbit hole big time once I get an idea in my head. So I had to re-educate myself. It's been a long time since I've done any video editing or anything like that. And the technology has changed so much. Last time I did any video editing, apps weren't a thing yet. They didn't exist yet. We only just had the iPhone. So yeah, technology's really moved on. I had to learn what was available, how to use them, what I wanted to use. Same with filming itself. What was I going to use to film? And how do I get the best out of my camera? That kind of thing. So it was a lot of watching other people's blogs and YouTube channels to do that and discover how I wanted to do it. It was the technical side of it for me. But that was fun in itself. And I enjoyed that too. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I wrote an entire business plan to start my YouTube channel. And yes, finally, I got to a point where I could actually film the damn thing. So yeah, filmed episode 1, put it out there in October. To those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe because it really helps me to work out whether I should actually bother to keep going with this or not. Is anyone getting anything out of it? Because that's the point. It's not for me, it's for you guys. And I hope you are finding it genuinely useful and helpful. Yeah, so got episode 1 out there and was really excited. And episode 2 was filmed from Lucia Mayonnaise because regardless, I still have these conditions. I ended up being admitted to hospital with yet another kidney stone and a suspected infection. And decided I'll just film the episode and just show you guys this is what it's like for me. You never know what's going to happen until you get up in the morning, and sometimes not even then. So we put that episode out and I wasn't mad at it at all because it was also my birthday week. So I was very happy about that. And I did and ah about whether I should cancel my birthday party or not, but I decided no, I'm going to go ahead because there were also other things to celebrate. Not only had I got episode 1 out there and, you know, sharing that with the world now, and that was something I wanted to celebrate, but my doctors had also confirmed that my myeloma was in full remission. And I'm still bouncing off the walls about that now, all these months later. I think I'm still struggling to believe that it's actually happened. 9 years in the making. And it was almost 9 years to the day that I got that news as well. So I wasn't happy about it. I was completely, totally and utterly elated. So yeah, I kept my birthday party and had a great time And then a few days after that, the test results came back and confirmed that I was correct. I did also have an infection. I had a massive influenza infection. I wasn't feeling 100% on my birthday, no, but, I was just in a great mood, so it didn't matter. But those few days later, it had really started to kick my butt. And especially as rather than rest, I'd been out and about, that had made it worse. So, yeah, by the time they confirmed I had the flu, I already knew. And I was already curled up in bed in absolute pieces. I was a hot mess. So I did manage to do a couple of short episodes after that, but then I did have to just throw in the towel and say, listen, I'm going to have to just take a break, whether I like it or not. What was best was to take a full break, which coincided with my doctors agreeing with that sentiment and actually pausing my treatment as well, because again, that affects your body's ability to fight infection. It further reduces your immune system. So in order to fight the flu, we needed to stop the treatment to help me to fight the flu. So break from everything. And I just curled up in bed, avoided seeing anyone because I certainly didn't want to pass that on to anyone, because it really was horrendous. I mean, this flu hit me worse than both times I caught COVID. Having a compromised immune system did mean that it took 2 months to get over the flu. So for the next 2 months, pretty much everything I booked thinking I must be well by then, I had to cancel because I wasn't well by then and I didn't even feel well. I was still feeling really rubbish. But mentally, there was also the mind melt of, you finally achieved a remission. This thing you've been working towards now for almost a decade, yet you are still so ill that you're still missing out on life. Trying to tally that up was really difficult in my head, and it was taking a mental toll on me. It was just very difficult to get my head round achieving remission and feeling that you're in the same position of not achieving anything at all. So I was failing in my own goals, but they were imposed by me. So who exactly was I letting down? But in my head, I'm failing and I'm letting everyone down. So that was particularly difficult, and it was really starting to get to me. I was also supposed to be having surgery because, as well as the kidney stones, I also had gallstones, because all of these conditions and, additional health issues, they have a knock-on effect and they cause other issues. And in my case, I've ended up with both kidney stones and gallstones, which are both incredibly painful. And I'd been waiting 18 months for this surgery. So now my gallbladder removal surgery, I forgot what they actually call that, but either way, that was booked in for the 15th of December. But I've got bleeding flu, which adds additional risks to having surgery. So I need to get over this ASAP. And just 4 days before surgery, I finally tested negative for the flu, just in time. So yeah, talk about getting in there under the wire. But yes, on the 15th of December, I was able to have the gallbladder surgery, which was great because it's one less thing to have to be concerned about. Because having that surgery means I'm never going to get gallstones again. It's going to get rid of the ones I have because I won't have a gallbladder to have to consider. And it is a major surgery, but my brain hadn't gone down that route. My brain had gone down the route of, well, it's keyhole surgery. It's day surgery. You're going to be home that evening. They take gallbladders out every day of the week. And you have 2 cancers and an MS. So your gallstones are a minor thing. So that makes it a minor surgery, right? Wrong. Gallbladder removal is a major surgery. They are removing an organ, for God's sake. So what the heck is wrong with me? So yes, it's a good thing not to be afraid of surgery, and there isn't a need to be afraid. This is something the doctors could do blindfolded. Probably quite literally, I'm hoping they weren't blindfolded. Pretty sure they weren't blindfolded, but I bet they could do if they needed to. Yes, it's something that is relatively low risk because of that. even lower risk because they now do it as keyhole surgery rather than the great big scar you used to have when they used to have to open you up completely. Instead, now it's 4 little holes, put the bitties in, snip, 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 and yank it out through one of them, I think through your belly button. And so in my head, I'd gone down to, minor surgery. It's not. It's still a major surgery. So when I came round, I was in a hell of a lot more pain than I'd expected. It wasn't any more pain than the surgeons and the doctors and nurses had expected. It was just that I was really underestimating what was being done. I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have done. So I learned that the hard way. And that drive home, which is only a short drive from that hospital, it's like 15 minutes max, 10 to 15 minutes. But every speed hump felt like we just jumped the car over a bridge, like Dukes of Hazzard or style or something. So, yeah, very painful. I felt every one of the 1 billion potholes we have in London roads that evening. But yeah, I did go in at midday. And I was home in bed by 7 p.m. And I'd taken the hospital's advice, so I didn't go home. I actually went back to my mum's. And again was being looked after by my mum and my stepdad because they had warned that, yes, you will be very sore for a couple of days. And it was only a couple of days. I would say within 48 hours of surgery, I was back to my normal level of painkillers. So a regular person would be on no more painkillers after 48 hours. Obviously, with my other conditions, I have to take pain meds every day anyway. But yeah, it was, not 10 days later. It was 8 days later, the 23rd. I actually had the staples removed. I had 12 staples in total. They were removed at my GP's. I was very nervous about having my staples out. I've had stitches in the past. I'd never had staples. And in fact, on most occasions, I'd had dissolvable stitches. So you don't have to have them taken out. The one time I'd had to have them removed, it was 1 stitch, but that hurt like you wouldn't believe. So I was very nervous that having these 12 staples would have the same level of pain each as that individual stitch. So yeah, really nervous. And I did tell the nurse when I got to my GP's, I'm super nervous. She said, you don't need to be. I was like, oh, are you going to numb me up? She said, no, you don't need any of that. And I was thinking, oh my goodness. And then she started taking them out and she was completely right. Yeah! It was really quite painless, like not painful at all. You feel a little pop as each one comes out. But I would say having a blood test, that needle for a blood test, is more painful than having each of those staples out. So within a minute or so, she had all 12 out. And that was it. And healing-wise, I did have some quite horrific bruising. But again, you got to remember, they have cut into your skin and they've removed an organ. So, yeah, bit of bruising is nothing. And in terms of scarring, so, like I said, I had the surgery on the 15th of December. Today is the 8th of January as I'm filming this. And I'm going to show you. So this is my belly. Now, so as you can see, the bruising is still quite horrific. But right here, that is one of the wounds. Can you see that? But even when I look, you can barely see. It actually just looks like a scratch already. And right here, I have another one. So this is right there. I think you can probably just about see a dark patch there. But that's it. Again, it just looks like a scratch. The bruising is way worse than either of those two. I do have another one in my belly button and another one down the side there. But I'm not going to get those out. But yeah, that's it. And they're completely pain-free already, and it's not a month post-surgery yet, but feel absolutely nothing. Completely closed up, healed. This is going to be good old. See, no pain at all. So, yeah, really pleased with that. And it also meant that I could fully enjoy Christmas dinner, which was pretty much my main goal. It's my favourite day of the year, my favourite meal of the year, because I get to spend it with my entire extended family, who I just absolutely adore. 3 generations of us under the same roof, having the most amazing meal, and we play games and we do Secret Santa and we watch all the soaps together, and I just love it and look forward to it more than any other day of the year. Even my birthday. I enjoy Christmas more than my birthday. So yeah, being able to just be comfortable and enjoy that with everyone, that's all I wanted for Christmas. So we always cook enough for several days. Hence why when we went back Boxing Day, I took that trip I mentioned earlier and face planted in my sister-in-law's drive. Less said about that, the better. Don't think my ego can manage anymore in that conversation. But yeah, that was Christmas. The other amazing thing that happened in December, so as well as getting rid of my gallbladder, which means no more gallbladder pain, and having Christmas and spending it with my lovely family, was the doctors confirming that my second cancer, myelodysplastic syndrome, also known as MDS, is also in full remission. Now, the big surprise with that is the treatment that I'm having has been developed to treat myeloma. So obviously we didn't know how it was going to affect the MDS. We never thought it would make it worse, but we certainly didn't expect that it would go into remission as well from this treatment. This is unknown territory for the team. And the MS also seems to have calmed right down again as well and be back in full remission. So I'm doing incredibly well. I'm still walking unaided. I haven't had a blood transfusion since March, haven't needed one. I'm over the flu finally. Still have a bit of a cough at night, still a bit snotty at night, but other than that, over the flu. I didn't lose as much strength in my legs over those couple of months as I thought I would. So yeah, still walking strong, and actually have noticed pace-wise, this is the best pace I've had since I stopped using the scooter in May. So, end of the year, going really well. So I spent New Year's with Mum, like I planned for 2024 into 25, 25 into 26. Me and Mum had the New Year's we intended. So Mum had a glass of wine, I had a glass of slur. We watched the fireworks on the news, and I think we were both in bed by 12:45. We just like to, mark it, watch it come in. You send all the texts to the family, and we did a group WhatsApp chat, and then went off to bed. And that is the end of 2025. So what next? We are now in 2026. I'm not really a New Year's resolution person. It's all a bit softer, mamby-pamby for me. But I do like a good list. I do like to set goals, something I can hold myself to account on. So, as always, I've done that for myself this year. So, this year's goal, quite simple. Do more. That is kind of going to be the theme of 2026 for me. Do more. So, what do I mean by that? So for 2026, I definitely want to be doing more filming. I fully intend to be doing regular episodes for you guys. I'm getting this one out a few days later than I wanted to because got rid of the gallstones, still got kidney stones, they're still giving trouble. So yes, but do more episodes. I want to do a lot more of those short, sharp episodes, the shorts, where I'm just letting you know what's on my mind, what I've learned as I learn it, that kind of thing. So a lot more of what, forget Simon, but what Simone says. So yeah, Simon doesn't have great ideas, Simone does. So yeah, a lot more what Simone says in 2026. So do more filming. Also want to do more, as in get out and about. I'm much more physically able now. Like I said, I can get on a bus and I can get on a train now because I don't have the scooter. So I couldn't use British Rail before, not enough stations that were accessible. But without the scooter, it means I can. So I want to get out more. I want to see all the stuff I've been missing out on and see all the stuff that I've missed and find new stuff that I didn't know was there. I also want to look at the accessibility of these things, because I do obviously still have issues with my ability or mobility. I still can't get around as much as I'd like. So I will go and visit these places and then I'll feed back to you and let you know how accessible they are. What's a go-to and what's a to avoid or to be avoided. And hopefully that will help some of you guys get out a bit more as well. So definitely want to get out more. I want to see more of the world. So do more travel. I do have 2 trips planned already and I will be taking you with me. So I'm not going to give you any more detail on those for the moment. Just watch this space. But yeah, there's some travelling coming up as well. And definitely we'll be sharing with you the kind of passenger assistance and accessibility in terms of flying, because that can be quite scary for people. And maybe there's things that you just didn't know were available that will help make it less scary so that you guys can travel more if you have accessibility issues as well. So we'll definitely be covering that. And lastly, I want to do more in terms of with my body. So yes, we are in full remission on everything at the moment, which makes it the perfect opportunity for me to strengthen my body further. So I haven't hit my goals yet with my weight, but part of that is also going to be building back the muscle. Like I said, having been in the scooter for 5 years, there's a lot of muscle wastage, but not just in my legs, in my entire body, because I couldn't exercise at all with where the anemia was at. So now I'm not anemic anymore. I'm going to take the opportunity to build back those muscles and my strength, which of course is just going to help with everything. So hopefully when I'm doing my 2026 roundup and talking about my goals for 2027, you'll be able to see a noticeable difference in my physique. And hopefully I will be a lot stronger, a lot more toned. So yeah, you can help keep me on track with that, hopefully. And hopefully you will start seeing the difference soon. Not going to push too hard. I have just had surgery and it's been a long time. So I know I have to take it slow, do it gradually, be careful, be sensible with it. But yeah, hopefully you'll see a difference with that in 2026 going forward as well. But yeah, that's my goals for 2026. Do more filming, more getting out and about, more travel, and more rebuilding of my body. Which isn't what I was doing on Boxing Day. Boxing Day was about face planting my body and adding to the bruising. You know what? I'm just going to show you.
No podcasters were harmed in the filming of this video.
And that's what happened on Boxing Day. So I added to the bruises I already had from the surgery with additional bruises on both knees and potentially having strained this wrist. It's still very sore. I've taken the bandage off. The bruising is just ridiculous. I look like an influencer who just lost a fight with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I don't intend to repeat that in 2026. I'm hoping to stay on my feet a lot more this year. So, as always, I've enjoyed time spent with you guys, and I hope you think it's been time well spent. Speak to you all very soon.